I just got dropped off. I got a wild Uber. I had a wild Uber ride. I'm still carless right now. Mm-hmm. So just living that.
That's my neighbor's name.
Carlos. That's. I like it. Hey, listen. In '94, that would have been a fucking. That would have got
Pull your sleeves up. Yeah.
In '94, he would have sold 1 million T-shirts that said "Call me Carlos," and it's a picture of Brian.
Yeah.
Darkened to look Mexican.
Yeah, there's cross streets that say like East LA and Boyle Heights on it.
Yeah, exactly. I had a Uber driver who was a lady. It's always a bit like, it always throws me off a second.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy, dangerous job for a lady.
Well, also it makes me uncomfortable because I know for a fact there's mace. You know what I mean? So like when you get in with a dude, you could be like, maybe there isn't weapons in here, maybe there is.
Yeah,
but
you're
with a woman, you know for a fact there's weapons in there.
There's weapons in there, and you can really, it's like you know that you're on that border where you're like, this could go bad.
Yeah.
She could really assume the wrong thing by looking at me. So you're extra. I behave like a young black youth with a cop. Like I have my hands where you can see them at all times. Like it's a fucking kind of an uncomfortable ride sometimes. And it's not their fault. It just is what it is. We live in a horrible society.
100%.
We live in a horrible, I guess, species. You know.
Sure.
So she was driving, but I've had lady Uber drivers before, and a lot of them are. It's a much better experience. It's very pleasant. They kind of, they drive a little, more cautious. I feel like than a lot of the dudes I've had. But this lady had like all loser dude traits.
Oh.
She had like 3 energy drinks in her thing. Like the car kind of smelled like smoke.
Yeah. Febreze and cigarettes.
Yeah, she had fingerless gloves. Like,
Oh Lord. Was she listening to a podcast?
She was listening to some. I don't even
It was
know.
worst hour.
She was in the Patreon. Super nice young lady. It was just a wild experience. So Tyler tried calling me while I was on the way, and I couldn't pick up because she insisted on all the windows down, which is fine.
So she was gassy?
I'm sure it's like a COVID thing. I'm sure there's some, but it was just funny to be like, you were smoking in here right before I got here. So I guess he was airing it out for the next
you
guy.
have to wear a mask in Uber still. Because Ramsey was in my driveway in a mask, and COVID is as far as I'm concerned, it never happened. It's completely over.
Yeah.
So now when I see people in masks, now I think they're crazy again.
Oh, that one guy last night?
Yeah, we saw a guy with a mask. He did a set through his mask, and I was like, he's going to kill us.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, and I was like, oh, did Ramsey finally break?
Well, now that everybody's getting out of COVID, I'm kind of getting into it. Yeah, I like that. I'm like, listen, these guys, I kind of like being my own dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm super concerned about COVID-19. And
Well,
the spread.
Obama has it, so.
Does Obama have COVID?
He just got COVID like 3 days ago.
Interesting. Took a very long time for a guy like him.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of cutting edge.
He
So
really
it's kind of
is.
strange.
Yeah, you're right. Because
Yeah.
he must travel so much. He
First
must
gay president.
Come on, man. I don't even know what
Call back to Sinclair.
to Sinclair. Oh, that's right.
The
You're
guy
right.
whose book we used to buy. Tried to buy, but it was $300.
I forgot. Did we ever? We did that on the show. Okay,
we tried to interview the guy who claims that Obama used to suck him off for coke.
Yes, he did. Larry Sinclair.
Larry Sinclair.
Larry Sinclair not only believes that Obama, not only argues that Obama sucked his dick for coke, but also there's one copy of his book. He wrote a book about
It's
it.
very expensive.
It's incredibly expensive. It's like $500.
It's a bold move because I'm assuming that's a lie, and it's a bold move to make him suck your dick.
Yeah.
That's a crazy move.
The funny thing about it is you're just like, this is such a, not only is this a cokehead story, but it seems like you're trying to just get $500 from us.
I know.
Okay.
He's like, look, I could go through the hassle of publishing a bunch, but I'm trying to get $500. So I'll just print one.
I'm just trying to get a little bit more coke. It's like he's only stayed in the coke realm with that whole story.
I feel like Obama, like, I'm too insecure. If I was going to make up a lie, I would still be sucking the dick in the lie because I would feel like that's more believable.
Yeah.
I used to suck off Obama for coke.
I agree. I would definitely make that because it's a little more embarrassing for you. It's not that cool.
Right. It feels more believable because you're kind of demeaning yourself a little bit.
And on top of that, like, it's just like Obama is like the dominant one in the story.
Yeah, and you would assume he would have money.
Yeah.
A little bit more than you would. Like, it doesn't seem like Obama has spent very much time in his life where he would need to suck dick for coke.
No, Obama's been I think he's been okay for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, how hard can Hawaii really be? I'm kidding. I know that people in Hawaii, don't kill me. Don't do what you do.
They're gonna bury you under sand with hot coals or something.
No, I guarantee you right now, Hawaii has like a horrible meth problem, or we took something to those people. I'm sure we gave them a horrible disease they would have never gotten had we never came to their island.
It's called McDonald's.
I'm sure it's a problem. I'm sure there's a lot of. My guess is Hawaii's rough side probably has a lot of guys, adult men riding bikes with pegs on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
We see old dudes.
Yes.
And they're riding a bike with pegs. They're like, man, dude.
That's for the bitch.
That's for the bitch. Or sometimes the homie. You guys, sometimes you both got to get somewhere in a rush.
They all have DUIs. When I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure DUI.
Yeah, there's certain areas, especially in California, where you see a lot of like adults. Fresno, for example, a lot of those kind of dudes hanging around.
And they're always in first gear. They're always pedaling super fast.
Yeah. Worst one, scariest thing is when you see the guy pedaling a bike, but he's also got another bike.
Oh yeah,
and he's guiding the other bike,
bringing it back to whoever lost it. That's what I assume. He saw a poster or Craigslist ad.
That's always a tough one because every single time you see that, you're like, I'm definitely witnessing a crime. There's simply nothing I can do about it.
Right. Also, I feel like bicycle crime is like, it's not, who cares?
It should not be prosecutable. You're right.
No, because it's like, why does the other guy have a bike?
Just like, all bike laws should be out of the. I think you can get a DUI on a bike. That's also
you can.
Yeah,
I know a guy who did.
Absurd. These are all absurd laws. Like bike laws should be completely do your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it figures itself out. You usually get run over or something.
You get run over.
Just let nature handle it.
You have the head injury that you should have had at an early age. I think that might be my problem. I think I should have gotten a concussion a little bit earlier in my life.
And well, the magnet will hopefully help that.
It's been helping amazingly. I don't know if it's been amazing, but definitely, hurts every time. Definitely sharp now. It's great. Wait, is there a reason why you brought that up?
The magnet?
Yeah.
Just because you said the concussion, you needed a concussion, so.
I forgot. Sometimes I can't remember what we talked about on the show and what we didn't.
That's a little bit new. I'm worried about this magnet thing.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good point.
I'm a little bit worried.
We on today's show, by the way, where are we at right now? We're like at 19 minutes. Okay, cool. We got it. What's on the syllabus today, Tyler?
Okay, we got Russian fat guy chains self to McDonald's.
Ooh, hold on. That
might be the Patreon.
That's the Patreon. Skip to
you
the
gotta
next
go
one.
up.
You gotta go upward.
Yeah, if you guys want to hear about a Russian fat guy chaining himself to McDonald's, you need to subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/WW.
Oh, I got you.
We've doubled all the prices due to Joe Biden's economy.
Yeah, was gonna put. Yeah, we've not only have we doubled all prices, but we're looking at a tripling of all prices. We're gonna do what gas companies do.
Yeah,
oil companies, what they do is they go like, gas is $7 a gallon, and you're like, no, stop, and they go, how about $5? And you go, that's amazing. $5 is amazing.
I found a place it's only $5,
but we started at $2.
Yeah,
they do this thing where, so that's what we're doing with our prices. We're tripling the prices, then we're quadrupling them, and then we're bringing them down, so it's about 4x.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
Plus, also in the same way that oil is priced, we do a lot of Patreon speculation.
Yeah.
We kind of speculate on what it might cost to have a Patreon in the future, and then we charge per that, like OPEC.
We sell our comedy by the barrel. Mm-hmm. much like crude oil.
I've always said this podcast is a barrel of laughs.
It really is.
and it's for your own barrel. It's $5. 10.
Yeah.
There's also a $1.99 option.
There's some people. There was a guy who gave us a lot of money for a long time. Remember that guy?
I do.
God rest his soul.
God bless that guy.
One of the greatest humans that ever existed.
We took his entire unemployment.
Yeah. We were basically somehow we got his unemployment. He was sending us his ballot to vote for him.
Do you feel like we were like a part of an unemployment scam? Was he laundering unemployment money through us?
It's going to find out at the end, yeah. We're going to go to jail for some kind of tax evasion pertaining to that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the syllabus.
All right, here we go. Julian Assange wins right to appeal. China is locked down again. Squatters take over Russian oligarch's mansion.
All right, I agree with all three of those stories. How about yourself?
I agree with all three. I also dropped in Saudi Arabia executed 81 people in one day.
Oh, is that like a reduction or is that an increase? I don't know whether that's good or bad.
I have some thoughts on it. We'll get to it.
Okay, because it could be a situation where it's like China or Saudi Arabia executes 81 people. That's 15 people less than last year. And you're like, wow, they're trending downward.
Well, it's what they're calling it. The news is saying it's the most in recent memory.
Yes.
Which, what does that mean?
Again, people, I don't know what the memory's like over there. You know what I mean? People probably barely can tell one day apart from the next. So we may be talking like 2 years.
Yeah, who knows? I know that like 6 years ago they did like a 60 banger.
Yeah, at one time.
Yeah. In the time since this pod has started, they've had a 60 banger.
Chop, and where they call Chop Square.
Yeah, yep.
What a crude.
Actually, these looked like parking lots of NASCAR races. The still frames I saw of the executions, they were all over. And it was like kind of like dirt parking lots where it looks like maybe there was like Russell Peters was there the night before, and then they're cutting off heads there the next day.
It could be possible. And here's the thing: it's been a long time since I've looked into the Saudi Arabian public execution process, but I thought they have an area that's sanctioned by like some imams and stuff.
They have the Chop Square is a real thing in Riyadh.
Oh, okay,
but
there's
not
sort
all
of a mobile squad.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's like there's federal executions and then there's local executions.
Sort of and you know me, I support a local execution.
I really think the state should handle execution.
Execution should be handled at a city level, in my opinion.
100%.
Your neighbors should be able, as long as it's involving you and your neighbors. You know. Those are the people who should hang you, not some fucking fat cat you don't even know from Washington, D.C.
Abdullah the executioner, he's a fat cat.
Yeah, he is. He's the big deal. I wonder with that guy, and we're talking about Abdullah the Saudi Arabian executioner. This is a guy we profiled on the show.
Maybe my favorite moment in the history of this podcast, if you want to go on our YouTube channel, there's a 13-minute clip of us breaking down Abdullah the Saudi executioner. They local news there did a puff piece on him.
Yeah, they did like this was like a memory thing. It was a great like video where they were just like interviewing him, but they were interviewing him in a way that you would just not find feasible in any capacity.
Sure.
Like they were asking him things like, so tell us, like,
yeah,
like, is it true that you sometimes behead people on an empty stomach? Like they're asking him weird questions where it's like, talk to us. Is it easier to kill a guy you know or a guy you don't know?
Right. Yeah, and they're like, do you ever feel any kind... This is my favorite quote. They said, do you ever feel any kind of guilt or empathy towards the person you're executing? And he said, if I feel any empathy, the hand will fail and the person will suffer.
Yeah. So that's sort of a
everything
thing.
He said was like Confucius.
I've kind of taken that with me to the rest of my life, where it's like, dude, when you're about to do something, you got to really think about it. Like you're an executioner in Saudi Arabia, and you got to cut this thing's head off.
Yeah.
And I go,
one foul swoop.
Do you want to really sit there and hack and listen to it scream all day long?
No,
and then, oh, whoops, missed it, got his ear.
He was actually, the best part about this interview was he was running late because he was executing somebody.
Yeah.
So he was late to the puff piece.
He was talking to them about executing people with his children in his lap. He was he had the kids on his lap.
He might as well have been eating.
And the kids were just like listening to him. And he was like, well, the first time I saw a head come out, I saw the guts. And he was like, he was being real graphic. It was a great episode.
Yeah, go back and check out that clip. It's on the YouTube channel.
Julian Assange, by the way, is he Is he coolest white guy ever or what? What do we got?
He's
Where
up
are we
there.
at on him?
I mean, first of all, coolest white guy ever has to have that head of hair. I love that long Amadeus white hair that he's rocking right now.
Yeah.
He's got that Ron White hair.
He's got a very cool DJ. He's permanently looks like a DJ.
Yeah. And he, I mean, obviously his number one advocate is Pamela Anderson. We've talked about that. That is sick as fuck.
If you're one of our listeners,
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, dude. She visits him.
if you're one of our listeners who's a person of color, just know that Julian Assange to the white people is he's kind of our George Floyd.
He really would be a white George Floyd, a guy who hasn't been killed.
He's completely like, it's funny to watch because he's just dealing with the whitest form of prison ever.
yeah. Pamela Anderson is visiting him.
It's such a classically. He's not only that, but he's doing a lot of asylum and a lot of like. You don't understand. This man's a prisoner. He can't leave Ecuador.
Yeah, he lived in an Ecuadorian embassy for 7 years.
Yeah, it's like he couldn't even leave the country if he. It's like this is not really that much of a
Is
prison.
the Ecuadorian embassy that bad?
It's probably not so bad.
It's probably better than it is, just because we've covered what's going on in Ecuador recently, and it's pretty fucking brutal.
You can do pretty good in Ecuador with an American social security check. I can only guess what Julian Assange is pulling down, sort of doing his Assangeisms. And now in World of Zoom, this motherfucker's zooming into tons of things.
Air conditioning.
Just chilling in his studio. I'll zoom into this guy's call and I'll do a speech about how to be free. And I'll speech to this guy, talk to this guy about the importance of free speech. He just has all those speeches probably lined up.
Yeah. WikiLeaks is still functioning. Went on there. There's not a lot on there right now, but like, I've never really understood why Julian Assange is. It's just because I guess it's espionage. That's what it is. He leaked, but it was all the DNC, right?
Can we play a little bit of footage from the press conference because I really need to paint a picture of how white this event is. And I understand he's like Icelandic or something, so I think it's just gonna be that way.
Yeah.
But these people are some white ass motherfuckers talking about some white ass things.
What happened in court today is precisely what we wanted to happen.
Oh wait, hit pause. Sorry.
There is a woman of color behind the Irish woman.
Is there really? They were smart to do that then. That's good. Let me just set this up really quickly. Julian Assange is right now trying to appeal an extradition to the United States.
He won, so originally the UK said they were not going to extradite him. Then the US appealed that ruling.
And then the court said, we won't listen to the appeal.
Yes.
No. The U.S. appealed it, right? And then Assange wanted to appeal the U.S.'s appeal.
Yes.
This is why they fuck us,
so
by the way.
they're gonna hear his appeal of their appeal.
And this is a celebration.
Crystal
of that.
clear, right?
Is that Tyler? You get what I just said.
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Do you know what extradition is?
That would be him being forced to come back to America.
Yes.
Right?
He's like, it's like tradition, but extra. He's like, it's a little more addition.
So they were gonna extradite him. He's facing 175 years in prison in the U.S. So they were gonna extradite.
Did he rape a chick?
That got dropped. That I think that was like I don't know, but it didn't get.
Yeah, it's not a fun subject now that I think about it.
It has because I don't want to be like he didn't do it. That was slander because I don't know.
Some topics I don't realize until you start talking about it. You're like, God damn it. Didn't even see this.
He only hacked the DNC.
Yeah, that's what he hacked. He didn't know. I mean, it wasn't an attack on Democrats, but they were in office when he leaked.
No, I'm not saying that like that. I'm just.
Was it just the DNC, really?
That's what the 175 years is. His 2,000 DNC emails that were leaked.
That's not a government organization, or is that part of the
They
government?
are not a government organization.
Yeah, it's got to be something more. I'm with Tyler on this one. There's got to be
Well, it
something we
exposed
don't know.
war crimes.
Well, there's got to be something more going on. There's got to be like a government thing that gets involved because until you get a government entity involved, that's when you start to see those 400-year sentences.
Yeah.
Those don't really exist for civilian crimes.
Right.
So,
yeah.
it's
It was
gotta
all. For some reason, in my mind, the DNC sticks out that he leaked a bunch of DNC emails.
That's probably part of it for sure. And I'm sure. I think there's some more sexual stuff on him.
No, there was a sexual assault accusation, but that has nothing to do. That was all in Europe.
That was in Europe.
Yeah, it was like
Okay.
in Sweden or something, and I think that's already gone.
Yeah.
But what this is about, that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
So they were going to extradite him back to the U.S. And then then they said no to that. And then the U.S. appealed that, and they said yes to the appeal. And now he's appealing the U.S.'s appeal.
Yeah, Tyler literally
Clear,
fell asleep.
right?
I watched Tyler fall asleep.
Yeah. I just thought it'd be funny to go through it one more time because it's so fucking confusing.
Was there a hack with like releasing like drone strike information about Obama? Was that a hack or a leak?
That's
had to be.
So Chelsea Manning, I think, leaked a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And everybody, so WikiLeaks was the host to all the leaks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you just give them to WikiLeaks and they put it out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean Julian Assange is all of these leaks. He's the host for the leaks.
Yeah, he's just the guy. He's the responsible party.
Yeah, he's the
you
web
know.
domain owner.
Kind of like how Ramdog Enterprises is technically the responsible party for a lot of the Worst Hours material.
Right.
I've assigned that responsibility. So should we cross any lines, you'll have to take it up with the organization.
Right. The Ramdog.
Ramdog
LLC.
Enterprises LLC, a true California
you-
registered company.
Did you just like make your family the board
I'm
without them knowing?
all of them. I'm everything. I can't cede power.
That doesn't sound like limited liability if you're the only one.
That's a very good point. You're right.
That sounds like sole liability.
Tyler, before we leave, I have some paperwork I need you to sign. And it's nothing that you should
You ever
be
wanted to
concerned
be a CEO?
Sounds pretty rad.
Yeah. Yeah, babe, I'm the CEO of Ramdog Enterprises.
Tyler, are you liking your Monster Energy drink?
Yeah, I finished it.
Finished it, huh? Hey, I remember when I was like that too. That's it's crazy to see, man. It's crazy to see.
Is it triggering?
You know what? I'm 5 days sober now, so I'm past
You're through
everything.
the wall?
I'm basically through it. Guy, I'm basically done with everything. So
So you can drink them again?
You know, I'm actually cycled back to thinking about it again. Yeah, I'm turning around on it right now.
All right, let's get back to the whitest press conference ever held.
Yeah, let's get back to the whitest press conference.
The High Court certified that we had raised point of law of general public importance, and that the Supreme Court has good grounds.
Look how white everybody is
to
around him,
hear
with the
this
exception
appeal.
of the young lady who
The
they've
young
situation now is
lady.
that the Supreme Court has to decide whether
Clearly-
it will hear the appeal. But make no mistake, we
Where is
won
she
today
from?
in court.
Ireland.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that every time we win, as long as this case isn't dropped, as long as Julian isn't freed, Julian continues
Pause
to
it.
suffer for almost
That's a very white thing where like as soon as somebody expresses excitement or joy,
They gotta think
they
of that.
gotta bring it back and be like, "Don't you forget."
Everybody, just to be crystal clear about how white everybody is in this, they all look like they work as windmill engineers. Every single one of them looks like they have a job
They're all wearing wooden shoes.
in green technology.
Yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah. This is like Greta Thunberg's aunt and uncles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thunberg is an adult now. Can you believe that? You guys always got to get weird.
That's
dude.
Brian.
That's Brian and his weirdness.
It's just because of how we started the episode. That's all.
Well, maybe now you're starting to see. Maybe now you're starting to get the picture.
He thought of a callback and it made him laugh.
Thunberg is an adult now. No, that is not me. No, not creepy person says that. Nobody tracks somebody turning 18 and then they put it on you. He's announcing that somebody's 18 and then I laugh at it and go, "Oh, you're the creep."
No,
Who's the one following the guy turning 18 or girl? God, I'm thinking about men today.
people.
I really am. I got man on the brain.
It's really. I'll be honest with you. The show hasn't been the same since you did that. That's why I honestly cite that the show got weird.
I got men on the brain, goddammit. All right, let's get back to this press conference. This
I think this is
There's a lot of juicy cock at this press conference.
Julian Assange is a pretty good looking dude, right?
He's got a great head of hair. He looks like a composer. That's why I said Amadeus earlier.
I know he has his ears pierced. Please, can you tell me, does Julian Assange have his ears pierced? This is, you know how there's a Mandela effect or whatever?
Yeah.
This has got to be something like that, where it's like, we all know he has his
You're
ears
picturing
pierced.
like a Siegfried and Roy kind of guy, aren't you? He's got white tigers in his cell.
Let me see. He better have his ears pierced, because that's what I'm picturing. See, I'm looking at him right now, and even though I don't see earrings, I still believe I see earrings.
It's an earring vibe.
It's definitely an earring vibe. He's a decent looking guy.
Oh yeah, he looks like he puts it down.
He definitely is sort of. He's just like a very white guy. I mean, there's nothing else.
Very
to say
European
about him.
looking though.
Very European.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very that leather jacket that Europeans are issued.
Yeah.
You know, that's like not the motorcycle rock and roll Ramones leather jacket. It's like the weird one that's like a normal jacket but leather.
Yeah. I actually look at it and I think like that seems like it's for scooters.
Yeah, 100%. It comes with your Vespa. If you buy like a new Vespa, they give you that.
You know, thing. Sometimes it has to like. I'll tell you what the worst of those jackets are. The one with the frills. Any jacket with frills.
You don't like that?
It would just be a lot.
Tyler's gonna be wearing one of those within a week.
Tyler, did you ever wear like a jacket with frills?
Yeah. Tyler's gonna watch Easy Rider and lose his mind, and he's gonna start dressing like in a suede frilly coat.
Take your earphones off so I know if your ears are pierced. It could have happened.
Oh, your ears pierced?
No.
Did you have your tongue pierced?
I've never had a piercing.
Oh, didn't he? I thought he had his tongue pierced.
What? That's disappointing somehow.
No, but it seems like every guy I've ever met in the Navy is like, oh, I was wasted in Shanghai or whatever, and I woke up and my tongue was pierced.
What a crazy. I mean, it's unfortunate because I believe the only thing with the tongue piercing is a sexual connotation. Correct?
Right. Yeah. Well, what else?
It's a lot of risk too. I think you could die when you get it done as well. It's a very dangerous.
And it gives you a speech impediment, I think, and it also I think you can fuck up your teeth because you're just clanking metal on your enamel all day.
Yeah, it's plus you're also ruling out, and maybe it's good to do it, but there's no way you're gonna get any job where you have to have any sort of professional demeanor with it. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You're talking.
Do you think we'll ever have a president with a tongue piercing?
We almost had Cuomo for a minute, and he has his nipples pierced. That's as close as I think we're gonna get.
You think so?
I think we've already had a president with pierced nipples, but we don't know about it at this point. But
Yeah, they're like little known fact about Franklin Pierce.
yeah, you didn't know.
That's why they call it piercings.
Back then,
Because
it was,
Franklin Pierce had them.
yeah, it was like a symbol of like it was a gesture of goodwill.
Yeah.
Based on like tribes that were around there or something. No, I think Clinton has his nipples pierced.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's got both of his nipples pierced.
Yeah. For sure.
Changes the rings every once in a while. It's a big deal for him.
Changes.
He does a lot of work on his.
Yeah, he's rubbing witch hazel on his nipples while he's changing out the rings. Ooh.
Oh,
I couldn't even think of a Bill Clinton impression. I forgot what he sounds like.
I know it's been a minute. The Democrats
feel
really
your
stopped.
pain.
They stopped letting him talk during the Me Too stuff.
Yeah. When he started licking his lips at Ariana Grande at like what funeral? It was like an important funeral. George Bush,
Bush, or
it
maybe
was-
Cole. What's his name?
Colin Powell.
Colin Powell. I was gonna call him.
I think it was
Powell.
Bush one's funeral where Ariana. I don't know if Ariana Grande would have sang at George Bush one's funeral. That can't be right.
No, it was actually probably Biden's inauguration.
It was Aretha Franklin's
Funeral?
Yeah, and
That
she
makes
had
little-
she had like an 8-hour funeral.
Yeah. And Clinton was just licking his lips, staring at Ariana Grande.
You know, that's the funeral you want to have. You want to have the funeral where like the 18-year-old superstar is there and like excited to be like, well, I actually performed at that person's funeral.
Yeah. It's a good credit.
It's your funeral is a good credit for somebody else.
You've
That's a
seen
great
her on
funeral.
America's Got Talent and Aretha Franklin's funeral.
Yeah. Versus the funeral where you're just like, oh, that guy died? Crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a YouTube hole for me. I watch a lot of funeral speeches. Like Lemmy from Motorhead had a killer one.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Buck Owens had a killer one. Yeah.
That's a tough YouTube rabbit hole for me. Too, it seems a little dark.
People are killing though.
People are doing really well.
Yeah.
They're having good laughs.
Slaughtering.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's speech at Lemmy's funeral is awesome.
That should be the best. That should really be the best man. It's like, I'm who I choose in my life to speak at my funeral.
Yeah.
You should get to dictate that kind of stuff. I'm sure you do, right?
Well, it's just a matter of whether or not they listen to you.
I have a list of people I cannot speak. Other than that, you do what you got to do. There's some people where it's like, you know what?
If my cousin Amanda shows up, do not give her a microphone.
No, I just go, you've had too many opportunities in your life to speak. Respecting me would mean that you would come and stay silent. However, you would still be here.
You want a funeral, right?
Probably not. I lean towards a no. It seems like too much.
Yeah, I would just be worried that nobody would come, so I would just be like, let's not do it.
Yeah.
Let's just not do it.
To me, it just doesn't. The math just isn't there for me. Like, you're all gonna show up and do this and take some time off of work. It just seems bad for the economy.
Yeah, why don't you put in extra hours for me?
Yeah.
Do a little overtime.
You love me? Stick around. Yeah. Stick around and pay it forward to the man. Do a little overtime, unpaid.
Yeah. Instead of a funeral, cheat on your taxes for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that. I love that. Or I'll tell you what. Or I'll do one in VR. I either want to have no funeral or the douchiest funeral possible.
Right. Well, at least nobody has to travel to that.
Yeah.
But you do have to buy a $300 Oculus just to go to your funeral.
Yeah, yeah, and well, don't forget about the part where once you get into the VR world, you got to pay for the clothes. You know, that's a lot of how VR is run.
The skins, do they call them skins?
The skins, yeah, like the avatars and stuff. Like every game you play, the whole purpose of it is like, and if you want for $20 extra, your guy can look different.
Yeah, and he can break dance.
And you know what? When you're in there for a minute,
You get
you're
sucked
like,
in.
you know what? How come I'm like the basic ass one? I just basically everybody I play with thinks I'm a fucking loser.
Right. Man, in Call of Duty though, like I like being the shirtless guy with just the whatever that scarf over his head. It's like a very basic one where everybody else is like, they got these cheats where you can do that break dance where you jump your shin over your other shin.
Yeah.
And they're all like dancing and doing all this stuff. And then I'm just shirtless sitting there in the most basic gear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm about to light you motherfuckers up.
Sounds hot.
It's very hot, dude.
Call of Duty's hot.
And I have
dude.
giant tits. Do the bandolier going between my...
I've never played Call of Duty. I've never played anything. I've never gotten the Oculus is the first video game kind of thing I've ever liked as an adult, and I'm already gonna return it. There's just no way I can.
You still
keep it.
haven't though. You've been saying
I'm keeping it to
you gotta return
I'm
it.
keeping it to the last minute, and then I'm sinking it in.
What's the last 29 days or something?
Something like that. I'm going. Listen, let me get out a couple more. I'm not fully done. I'm like an alcoholic who's like, I gotta go to rehab, but I just need one more ride with the boys.
What's your favorite thing to do on the Oculus?
I really do enjoy I got you to do the kickbox or the regular boxing to like music thing.
Yeah.
I'll catch myself dancing while I'm doing that, like just having a great time. It's insane.
You deserve that.
You know what, dude? I do.
The fact that you've gotten to a place in your life where you can blind yourself and dance.
I'm boxing. I'm dancing.
Do you know how
my
much
heart rate's
progress
up.
that is for you?
Sometimes the trainer's speaking to me and he's going like, "You're doing it. You're the best. Say it." And I'll go, "I'm the best."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The guy you put me on, he was just like, my big brothers used to whoop my behind. And he goes, that's how I learned how to fight. And it was like, well, don't bring your trauma into this. I'm just trying to exercise.
It was a fun time though, right?
I had a great time.
I'm telling you, it works.
It's just I'm so scared of bumping into walls and just punching a wall as hard as I can. That
Dude,
like
I've fucking almost broken my hand.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
kidding. I've definitely hit like my desk, not knowing I had my desk.
yeah. I can't like step into a punch. Or I'm too scared.
It can definitely be it's kind of sort of a good tell of really how badly you're doing in life. Where you're like, if you can't have a space to do the Oculus,
You're right.
it's rough.
Julian Assange is right now. He's in a room in his prison.
He's like, I got my
with the
Oculus room.
Oculus on. Yeah,
My Oculus room.
cybering with Pamela Anderson.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a full fucking room. But if you're in a space where when you put it on, it's like you can't move without hitting something, like you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to do it in a park, and I would just get robbed.
Yeah, I mean, you figure it out, but I'm on the borderline of being like, all right, you're gonna have to go do this at a public park.
I imagine, like, I don't live in a neighborhood where I think you could get away with that, but I imagine like Culver City or like a nicer Beverly Hills, nicer area. I imagine that everybody's just got Oculuses on in the park because a park isn't enough.
Yeah, I'm sure their parks are dangerous. Every LA park, no matter how nice a neighborhood is like finds its way to be dangerous pretty quickly.
Right.
And listen, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
This podcast doesn't really go into them. You have to subscribe to our other podcast to get that.
Yep.
Where we delve into local issues in the United States.
Yeah.
What else we got on the? I was going to call it the docket, but that's our other podcast.
Yeah,
it's a docket in the other podcast.
This is
It's
a
syllabus
syllabus.
You guys want to talk about the China lockdown?
Ooh, yeah. China's on another lockdown. This is in Shenzhen.
Yeah.
Shenzhen is that's south, right?
Yeah.
that's where like a lot of the factories are.
It's a big tech hub.
Yeah.
I took a Chinese geography class in college, not even knowing. By the way, this is how dumb I was in college. I just randomly took it, and I was like, I didn't even know China was a big deal.
You just saw a girl sign up for it.
I think I used to pick classes back then to be like, when is like the most convenient one for me? Like, ooh, this class meets Saturday at 1 p.m. every other week. Like, I'm on this one. You know?
I see. That's too irregular. I would miss every single one of those. There's no way. It has to be weekly for me to do it. Bi-weekly? Are you kidding me?
It's the only time Brian isn't bi anything. Sorry.
That's fine. I used to suck off Obama for coke. I get it.
No, I was a great student back in the day.
Yeah, not me, man. Never, ever was I a great student.
Tyler, never a good student in your life?
Never. I always did really good on the standardized testing. Like,
That's what
really,
everybody says,
really
except
good.
nobody can ever prove that to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's always like, I was a bad kid, but I crushed this.
Yeah, 99 percentile.
The school, yeah.
The Iowa exam, 99 percentile.
I was a horrible student. It's just the school counselor would talk to me all the time about how I had so much hope.
Yeah, I had so much potential, and he's like, basically, you're a genius. You just need discipline.
You just need discipline, and
Yeah,
I go, nah, I don't really mess with that.
Yeah, no. I was bad, and I was bad on tests. I was
Yeah.
bad all around.
How do you know you crushed the standardized tests?
Because they give you in the mail.
Do they give you results for those?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
I don't think
In
we
California.
I wasn't really invested.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to go be a war hero
I was a horrible high school student, but in college I became a good student.
because you were paying for it.
I don't even know
You were incentivized to succeed.
by the system. Yeah, you're right. I was on a lot of financial aid. I think I told you I was college Republican on financial aid.
yeah, for sure.
Sort of a real fucking gangster move.
Yeah. It's the get your life together, Jordan Peterson on benzos. It's like the same thing.
Well, kind of. I mean, listen, we're not going to trash Jordan Peterson, but I hear you.
It's an appropriate analogy.
I think the story is a little more complicated than you're giving it. It's what I'm saying. What's going on in Shenzhen?
Turning now to the spread of the virus outside of Korea's borders, a number of countries, including China and Germany, are witnessing another surge of COVID-19 infections.
This is Korean.
Pause it real
Bombed a
quick.
Chinese
How hilarious is it that the two of the countries with some of the most fascist like leanings are like, oh yeah, there's another outbreak. Germany and China. These countries are going to have outbreaks forever.
What do you think about these newscasters, by the way?
Well, the guy on the right's a curveball.
This is a curveball. This is Korean news.
That guy looks like a fucking leprechaun. Like he looks like an Irish guy.
Very white guy, dude. Well, I guess that's what you do.
That's diversity over there.
I think we should try. I'm telling you, if we move to like Vietnam, well, I don't know about Vietnam, but maybe if we did like a rural part of China, we could get a great gig probably doing media. It's not a lot of guys out there doing what we do.
You don't think we would be executed in 2 seconds?
That's probably why there's not a lot of guys doing what we do. So at least it'd be a good life for a minute.
Would it?
I think we could get it going. You know what I mean? Think about it. If we could get just like a small province in China, if we could get all of them to give us $1 each.
Just like, yeah, what is that? That's like 25 million people?
That's what I'm
Something like
saying.
that.
If we could just get all of the people in Wuhan to give us $1 each, we would both be billionaires.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's sort of my logic.
For a week.
That's why when people go like, I'm a Shark Tank, they'll be pitching their restaurant. They'll be like, think about it, Sharks. Food is $100 billion a year. Like, I don't know if this is a great pitch or not.
That's the worst statistic to ever quote.
If we can just get 1% of $100 billion, that's $1 billion.
That must get shut down every time.
It's hilarious. It comes up every single time. And I'm like, nobody said anything.
Look, people, oxygen is a commodity in this world.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get back to this white man
cities
who's
like
reporting the news
Shenzhen
in
to
Korea.
put their citizens under a strict citywide lockdown. Victor Flood has more.
Victor Flood.
China has decided to put its southern tech hub Shenzhen under a citywide lockdown, following a latest spike in new COVID-19 cases. Residents in the city of some 17.5 million people will have to undergo 3 rounds of COVID-19 testing. All businesses except those that supply food, fuel and other necessities were ordered to close or adopt a work-from-home scheme. The decision comes as Chinese health authorities confirmed a total of 66 new COVID-19 infections in Shenzhen city on Sunday.
It's only that
While the
seems like
number of new
nothing.
cases
66.
detected in mainland China is relatively low compared to Hong Kong or other countries, authorities are enforcing a, quote, zero-tolerance strategy
Can you hit
and
pause
have
on
locked down
this?
entire cities and isolate.
Do we have another strain of COVID, or is this the same?
I don't even know. They might be doing Omicron.
Is
over
that
there.
Omicron over there?
Feels like it.
It feels, yeah.
There's like something from after Omicron that's like just letters now. It's like BH2 or something.
So
it's something just like not as catchy.
I'm telling you right now, that was a directive from the media to
Yeah.
be like, stop. We gotta stop calling it
Yeah.
things because when people have names for it,
It's scarier.
they won't leave it alone, and we're trying to get shit moving
yeah,
again.
yeah. We got to move on.
We're done with our plan to pump 25% of the money supply that we printed over the last 25 years in fucking 1 year. We're done with that. We're done with the plan of getting everybody off of paper and into the digital world.
Yeah, yeah. 7% inflation.
We're done sinking our teeth into all the motherfuckers and draining them. Now we're gonna give them a minute. That's
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
doing to us right now. They're giving them a minute.
Give
you know?
'em- yeah, make them thankful for $4 gas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the fucking move. The move. I remember when you remember. It's like the move is get it to 4, and then they'll be thankful for 301.
That's negotiation 101. That's in the art of the deal. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I haven't read it, but I'm sure it is.
I will be shocked if gas ever gets below 4 again. I will be shocked.
Who's gonna say once they realize that they didn't lose a cent of profit, and they realize that people not one drop less of gas was pumped
Yeah,
during this, they're gonna be like, why would we ever go back?
yeah. It's just not. Yeah. So well, good for them, and that's what we're gonna do.
I mean, I love to see people succeed.
Dude, that's the truth.
Yeah, I'm happy for Arco and BP and Shell.
Yeah.
I mean, at least somebody's succeeding.
Are you? I'm a ConocoPhillips kind of guy.
Are you? Yeah.
I'm a big ConocoPhillips guy. I think everybody who knows me knows that. So I can't be as grateful for BP or Shell, but
I like BP.
although I think Shell might be ConocoPhillips.
I think
I'm a
BP has a better logo.
You like the logo? I'm a 76 guy. I like that's
That's a good logo.
a
color
Conoco.
scheme,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good.
I like the
ConocoPhillips.
dinosaur one.
Oh yeah, that's like called like Dino Fuel.
Yeah.
That one's a bit crude for me.
It's-
It's a bit crude for me.
It's like when the barbecue joint has a pig on the like a cartoon pig.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like
it's like weird. It's
Yeah,
like
it's always, that's twisted.
I don't
Yeah.
need to. I don't need to know that in order for me to do what I'm doing right now,
an entire
he's gonna be
species.
fucking die and
Yeah.
then turn into some kind of a weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's too much chemistry for me. You know.
It's a bit vicious. It really makes it feel like blood.
Yeah, I'm okay without that one. Dino-Mart or whatever can be.
I think it's called Dinomart, right?
yeah, it might be.
That's what.
Dinomart.
I don't know how common or prevalent of a gas station that is around the country, but that's a very Latino heavy area gas station.
I ate a burrito literally from a truck in a Dinomart parking lot last night.
A lot of taco trucks, a lot of candy that you're like, okay, somebody here wrapped this candy. This does not come off of a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
You got a supplier who wraps his
With
candy at
rubber
home.
bands and plastic sandwich bags.
A lot of sour and hot stuff. And look, I like it, but the FDA has got to take a look at this, dude. You can't just be doing this.
So are they about to announce some extreme COVID regulations in Shenzhen?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is an alarming thing for the rest of the world, because when this happened the first time, like with Wuhan, we all kind of were like, yeah, Wuhan, they're locking down. What a bunch of weirdos. And then like 4 months later, the world locked down. So I don't know if this is the start of something else or if this is just something that China does now every once in a while to
think-
whip its people around.
I think China and Germany are the kind of countries that, like, when you give them that kind of fucking grip on your throat, they don't let it go.
Germany? Really? They've been nothing but nice for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
They're so cool now.
they have a military again.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I used to do a bit about this, but Germany is nice in the way, like, whenever Germany does anything good, it is equivalent to whenever, it's like, it doesn't make them good people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like when my brother does community service, it's not because he's good.
Right.
So
It's court ordered.
He committed a crime.
Right.
A physical crime against people.
Yeah.
Or hurt someone.
It's like when it's when you meet an old prisoner and they've kind of like calmed down, and they're kind of sweet. It's like they don't have the energy to kill anymore. They don't have the strength.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean they're cured or they're a better person. They just have arthritis.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened with my pops. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad age slowed him down.
He didn't learn anything.
That would have been a problem.
Yeah, Germany's just like they're too small now.
Yeah, way too small. But always at the threat of like taking over all of Europe. Like, there's always a looming threat that Germany's like about to.
Well, if you get rid of the genocide part of Germany, you go, well, they do a great job of running their country.
Good engineers.
They do a great job. If they could just chill on the who gets to live stuff.
Yeah.
And they just that's kind of what they're doing with the EU.
Yeah.
They're running the EU.
Financially, they figured it out now. You don't have to really do anything but control financial. We'll talk about this in the Patreon, but the Federal Reserve stuff is crazy. And they talk about how, like, when they adjust, I'll talk about it exactly what that means, but when they adjust the interest rates, how it affects everything. All you got to do is have a bank that loans the money, and that's all you need. You don't need to fucking kill people anymore.
It's modern, and colonialism.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. There's news with the Fed nominee from Biden said no.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the
that.
Patreon because I'll be honest with you, some of those opinions that I have aren't good for NSFW. They're not. I don't know if I want to air it out.
Not safe for white women.
Ooh, I like that one. That's good. NSFWW. But then as soon as you say WW, you want to say F again.
Right.
So it's an issue.
Then it becomes a federation.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're in a federation.
The White
now
Women Federation.
Now they're cool. Now I want to be part of them. It's a whole thing. Okay. Well, that's gone forever.
More? Yeah.
China's
fucked.
China's fucked.
Yeah. China. if you're walking around China right now, you're fucked.
Yeah, this is not. I'm not saying. I don't think you heard this and went, "Oh, well, things were going so good."
Look at small.
Sorry about that.
Who's this? What is this? This is for. Oh, so this is kind of interesting. There's another ship that's stuck in at a.
There's a new one stuck because when I opened this video.
This is an older video that explains this concept. I never knew that this was such a problem that we had.
The Suez Canal ships getting stuck. That was a big story.
Yeah. I mean, I was aware of that. I didn't know what the root cause of that problem was. I just was like, that's cool. It's a big ship. That's funny. The ship, they should have planned to have a bigger canal. It's actually because the canal was planned during a time when those ships were significantly smaller. Like, it's a crazy problem that they have ships that big now.
Yes.
They're too big for ports. They cause a bunch of damage, and then when they get stuck or stalled, it like wrecks an entire economy.
Right. It takes like 2 years to catch up with all the deliveries that are. Yeah.
This is the supply. Like a lot of the supply chain shortage that we're dealing with right now. Some of it was rooted in that Suez Canal drop fucking a year ago. Like, this shit is big.
I was in an IKEA the other day, and there was nothing was in the store. Nothing. And then I was talking to people who were looking for some stuff in the store, and they were like, we just drove down from San Francisco because the San Francisco IKEA had nothing.
Yeah.
And this video actually talks about how that ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal was full of IKEA stuff.
Full of IKEA shit.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Did I already tell you guys that I went through the Suez Canal on an aircraft carrier?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was crazy how small it was. We had to get tugged through it.
Oh, so it is that small.
You got tugged in the Suez Canal.
But there's like a
Poor
camera.
Egyptian man who had to tug him.
It's in Egypt, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's in Egypt.
Jesus Christ, Tyler. You didn't even know?
Well, isn't there's two sides, right? No, I'm just
This is one of these things where you're like, and Tyler's was probably right in the middle of the pack in terms of your people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So
This is the guy who killed the standardized tests.
yeah. There's some motherfuckers who are right now like, what country are we bombing?
Suez? Wait, is that a country?
You said Pakistan or Palestine we're dropping the bomb on? Because
I've never heard of either.
I don't know what either is. I heard a P. Yo, I know I heard a P.
Y'all talking about Paris? Yeah, it's in Egypt. Suez Canal.
Hit play on this video.
This is the Ever Given. At a quarter of a mile long and towering as high as a 20-story block of flats, it's big.
Block of
Ridiculously
flats.
big.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that either.
Gargantuan Ever Given.
A giant container ship wedged from bank to bank.
So when it got stuck in the Suez Canal for 6 days back in March, it held up nearly 200,000 tons of cargo,
Jesus
fresh
Christ.
produce and electronic devices.
Is that how we spell tons as well, or is that a British spelling?
That's a
leaving
British spelling, the
customers all around the world
TONNES.
without their
Yeah.
orders. So if a single megaship could disrupt our global supply chain that easily, maybe bigger isn't always better.
This whole thing is about how he has a small cock. This whole video. Babe, big shit destroy the global supply chain. You should be lucky my dick can fit in your canal.
Notice there's a bit of a trend.
Hit pause.
This continued up until
Okay, it was too hilarious to just let that video roll through.
When you bring the global supply chain into defending your small cock, man, that's when you're really learned.
They just showed a clip that of like what the shipping containers used to look like in the 1950s. It's kind of wacky to look at because they were all like, all the shipping containers were like Chevrolet or like it was very like American companies. And as the ships got bigger, they got less and less American companies. It's kind of interesting.
They all look like they're in made-up languages now. like
Yeah, 'cause
Haplag-Lloyd? What is that? What is Haplag-Lloyd?
Yeah, well, presumably somebody's name, but
Maersk? These are all made-up companies.
yeah, it's very true.
Isn't there one like called like Yao Ming? Or like it's like really close to Yao?
Or Hyundai. I see a lot of Hyundai. I think they're in the shipping game as well. But so the issue that they're running into is that they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now there's only like 4 of those ships in the world. There's not hip play. They end up joining like a coalition to where it's come down to where there's like only a couple of those things. So all of the shipping in the world, all of this stuff, it all kind of runs through 3 companies pretty much.
That can't be good.
It doesn't seem like a good plan.
Doesn't seem good.
That's why I kind of think that maybe we should get into the shipping game.
Ooh, a little upstart.
Ooh, worst hour shipping. No time. You can't get us on time.
No. I mean, listen, you can't get us for anything.
It
But
just
how would
gets
you send
there.
a complaint to Haplag-Lloyd? I guarantee you can't talk to Lloyd or Haplag.
That's the difference between us is we've got
answer
a
the
huge
phones.
customer service department.
Very sweet, funny, witty, charming customer service.
It's basically most of our operations.
Yeah, it's customer service.
Tesla doesn't spend any money on marketing. Do you know that? They don't pay anything. They that's why Elon is always doing what Elon. Like, did you guys see Elon Musk like threaten to fight fucking Putin or whatever?
Yeah.
All of that
I
is
got Putin.
It's all I mean,
all day.
It would be just Putin would
Whooping the
just
shit out of
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
it would be so. It'd actually get kind of sad.
Putin would do that thing old boxers used to do where they spin their arm around like this.
Yeah.
He grabs his head and holds him. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
knocks him out.
Grimes would have to step in, and even though they're not
Putin
even
would just fuck her because she was into it. Like, it'd be consensual.
even though she's not with him anymore, it would be a kind of thing where Elon was getting his ass
It is
kicked.
my kid's dad.
Yeah, it's getting his ass kicked so hard. They're like, you're psychologically hurting my kids. They can't live in a world where their dad was spanked this hard in front of everybody. And by the way, the Ukrainians should be feeling pretty, because what did he write? He tweeted that, what did he tweet? Like, me and you, let's fight, winner, the stakes, Ukraine, I think is what he tweeted.
How about you just send one of those rockets?
Yeah, I gotta say, if you're in Ukraine, that probably didn't make you feel great to be like, you know what? Can we choose the fighter if we're gonna do one of these sort of?
Yeah, I know,
rules?"
right? If we're
I'm sure there's 15 boxers who are in the Senate at the Ukraine.
100% there is.
Yeah.
The mayor of Kiev is the former heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, it's like I don't need to necessarily put our hope into Elon Musk on this one. Let's just keep this one at one Ukrainian versus one Russian. That's that.
I mean, I think you got the tweet?
Yeah, it just has a couple words I have no idea how to read. But
It translates to Ukraine. Read the tweet.
Here, I'll make it full screen so I can see it. I hereby challenge Putin to single combat.
And then the Cyrillic.
Stakes are Ukraine.
Yeah, and the Cyrillic is supposed to. You're supposed to fill in the statement with the Cyrillic or whatever.
we should just edit that scene of Game of Thrones where they do a duel to the death and that guy's head explodes with Putin just crushing Elon.
Never saw it.
I didn't either.
You know, and I also made a promise to myself in 2022 that I was going to stop pretending I'd seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Why are we pretending?
Because I was living a life where I was just kind of wanting people to go like, I'll let you make your analogy. It's fine. I'm the weird one for not seeing it.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like-
This is a weird room where 2 out of 3 hadn't seen it.
I'm the guy. It's my fault. These guys are making a show that everybody loves, and I'm the asshole who's like, I'm not watching it or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like monsters and stuff.
So I just keep. What do you mean monsters?
The show?
Yeah, the show. So
Yeah.
Dragon.
The way they got people into it is like there's not really that much fantasy stuff until like you're like 5 seasons deep.
Yeah,
it's just like hinted at.
You know, it's look. I'm sure it's a fantastic show. I hear the books are great. The guy's great.
I read all of them.
Did you really?
On deployment, yeah, I read all in like 2 months.
Wow, that's crazy to imagine. How many books have you read in your entire life?
Oh, dude, I used to read a lot.
Really?
You're from California, right?
See, hold on.
So,
I got,
like,
yeah.
Remember AR points?
I don't.
Accelerated reader points?
I don't
You'd
think
have to,
that was when. How old are you?
30.
Yeah, okay, so we're about the same age. I mean, you know, I tell people I'm 30 all the time.
I thought you were 28.
We play. Yeah, I play 30 on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never got that. That's weird. I
You
never
have
got.
to read a book and take a test on the book, and you get points.
And so you got
I
Did you
would
get pizza at the end?
You would win awards like pizza.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
got pizza for reading.
So just if you're out there, just so everybody knows, your kid can read a lot and end up like Tyler. So it's not a determinant
Yeah.
on anything.
I was just reading Stephen King books and weird.
I
Like,
really love that about Tyler because the book must have looked hilarious in his.
Yeah,
It looked even bigger.
Like a Merriam dictionary, like the big one at the library.
I have a book. I have several books at my home. Several, but one of them is a hollowed out dictionary with a safe in the middle.
And what's in the safe?
Oh yeah, like
One Adderall
like I'm gonna tell you. One Adderall, one cyanide tablet.
and a condom.
Yeah, it's my apocalypse kit.
Yeah. And the condom is just so you can mule
Yeah.
the Adderall and the cyanide into another country.
It's actually 2 Alpha Brains by On It. I have 2 bottles of Alpha Brain, and they were both given to me by 2 different people.
I gave you one.
You gave me one, and then Opie gave me one, and both of the everybody who's given it to me has been like, "Oh, can you take these because they gave me a horrible stomach ache or something."
No, they gave me the
They made me
worst
ill.
panic attack of my life. I
Yeah.
had to eat a whole sleeve of Snickerdoodle cookies just to calm down.
You didn't have to do that.
Yes, I did. That's how I calmed down.
It's with
You can go fuck
Snickerdoodles?
yourself. Whenever,
He's freaking out.
Yeah.
Babe, I need snickerdoodles. Fat.
whenever I have a panic attack, I either eat a whole cheesecake or an entire sleeve of Snickerdoodle cookies
We gotta
because
talk,
it
man.
knocks me out.
Yeah.
It's like a tranquilizer gun.
Sure. It makes you feel a whole different kind of bad. We gotta talk, buddy. As you know, I'm a huge advocate of sobriety. Well, from energy, from energy drinks. People, don't waste your life, folks. I mean, to be honest, though, I really do look at I don't know if we've talked about this before, but my budget for it is pretty comparable to a regular drug, a good drug.
Yeah.
Easily.
100%. You spending about like what, $10 a day,
somewhere
$300
around
a
there.
month.
Yeah, that's a decent drug habit.
You could do a lot of damage to your body with $300 a
That's
month.
a good amount of meth, probably.
I don't know what meth is. Meth has got to be cheap,
It's gotta
right?
be cheap. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah,
of
it's
what's
made
going
with
on.
like fucking Drano and shit.
I've seen the people who love it a lot, and they don't seem like people who necessarily have access to a ton of cash and resources.
But those are the visible ones.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a lot of, maybe there might be some CEOs up there.
secretly secretly smoke meth. Well, they don't. I mean, I guess Trump was on Adderall. I mean, there's I don't like that.
Sudafed?
When I'm talking about meth, I'm talking about the smoking it out of something.
Yeah,
foil.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm not talking about legal stuff.
So wait, we were talking about Elon Musk was fighting Putin for Ukraine, but that was in turn about ships that were stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of it.
So the ships are so big that they're getting stuck and they're fucking everything up. And when one ship gets fucked up, it fucks up the whole global supply chain.
Yeah, I had no
Because we
idea.
just keep building too big of ships, and only 3 companies are controlling shipping. God damn, that's scary.
That's why I think we should get into the shipping game. That was
That's
the
easy.
original. That was the original point. Is that we only have a customer service department. I remember.
I used to get Auto Trader magazine,
Uh-huh.
and Auto Trader magazine has a lot of containers for sale in it.
Ooh, you could buy
It's
a
not just
container.
auto stuff in there.
Oh, dude, we should. Why don't we have a containers podcast studio?
Oh, that would be so sick.
That would be really sick. And we just put it on wherever we want to put it.
Yeah.
Well, because you get with squatters' rights in California, boom.
Yeah, the Big Rig podcast.
Isn't that a
We
thing?
could be podcasting from like the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
I was thinking we're mid-podcast and we don't even realize that we're getting lifted to a boat.
Yeah, Tyler's like, are we in Egypt or?
Would you ever live in a tiny home? You know the shipping container homes. Tyler, which is called a regular home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I would totally.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it. I get a little claustrophobic in tiny places.
Yeah, you know, my problem is I would sit there the whole time in the shipping container home, and I'd be like, "It's probably smuggled a bunch of Hondurans into the country." Like
yeah.
it just.
You just burn some sage.
You think I could get rid of that? They were probably scared. There's a lot of that energy left behind. You know, it wasn't pleasant for anybody.
I'm sure whatever happened in this house before me wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, that's true. Isn't this a new, kind of a newer house?
2016.
It's a pretty new house for Los Angeles.
Yeah. No AC.
There was probably, the horrible things probably happened in a different house that got demolished. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
the one that. Yeah, this is on the grounds.
Yeah,
burial site.
For sure.
Yeah, an Avenitos burial site. All right, well, I want to get to Saudi Arabia real quick because here's the thing: everybody's judging Saudi Arabia for executing 81 people in one day. First of all, they were terrorists.
Yeah.
So I don't know when we got mad at terrorists being killed. I remember that being a pretty positive thing when I grew up.
Well, dude, if only they had executed 11 more. That's sort of that's how I feel.
Exactly. 22 years ago.
22 years ago.
Yeah.
So if we did 11 more every year for the last 22 years, there would be a lot more Saudi Arabians that would have to die necessarily. But
And like people are like, are they really? It's like, well, I don't know. I believe there's 82 terrorists in Saudi Arabia.
that's probably
at
correct.
any given time.
Well, I mean, who's doing the accusing? This is they're terrorists because this is kind of one of those weird things where it's like you could be a terrorist to the state of Saudi Arabia probably for like doing a push up or something.
I think a lot of them had to do with. Do you remember several years ago they tried to seize the mosque in Mecca? Not the 79 one, but they did it again.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them, but my point is the problem with Saudi Arabia is you don't have to do it all in one day.
Yes.
If you spread them out, it's not a news story.
I fully agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, not that they give a fuck.
Sure.
But I mean, if you do give a fuck, I say, just do one every other day. You're still done before the half of the year's over.
Yeah, I agree with you. The problem with that is you gotta. It's like the labor process. Now I'm housing people for a while. Now I've got people up in my, now people are staying in the palace because you're out of places to put them in the jail.
Right. Yeah.
You got a couple of executees and having a great. And by the way, they're now starting to love life a little bit more.
They're making eyes at your daughter.
It's a little bit. That's my thing. It's like it's more humane to get out all 81 in one.
I mean, I would want to be first in line for sure because there's no way you're getting out.
You're not thinking. There's probably not a ton of optimism.
But
in
if I was running
Saudi Arabian
PR for Saudi Arabia,
Which
I
you
would
may
say
be.
someday maybe.
I've seen their Twitter. You might be. It's a pretty rough Twitter.
I think I would just advise, don't kill them all in one day. Even if you did 10 a day, every other day, you gotta take a day off.
Okay.
10 a day, every other day.
So yeah, Fridays.
You're still
too.
blowing through it pretty quick. Can't kill on Friday.
You
right?
can't kill on Friday. It's,
Yeah.
it's Lord's Day, but
That'd be weird.
it'd be a bit weird.
It'd be weird to chop a head off on Friday.
Put in a couple of extra hours every other Saturday, you get through them.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a problem. But everybody's making the point that like we're sanctioning the shit out of Russia over their invasion, and then like yet Saudi Arabia executed 81 people, and we're still buying their oil or whatever. I hate those points because it's like it's not like Saudi Arabia's doing something they don't always. It's not news.
Or that we do.
We
too?
execute. I looked it up. We execute about 20 a year right now.
Yeah,
But in the year 2000, George Bush's first year in, we executed 85.
so we've hit this number.
We've
before.
hit this number in the 2000s.
Does the article
Not in a day, in a year.
Does the article state whether this is what is the deal? Is this a exceptional day or not? 'Cause
Yes,
I still don't know. Okay.
Yeah. It's as far as they can tell. I mean, no, I don't think they always. It's kind of like in the NFL. They started recording sacks surprisingly late.
Sure.
So they always say like, since they recorded sacks, this is the most in a season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they only recently started keeping score at how many people they've been executing. So since they've been keeping score, it's the highest ever.
There
in
must
one
be,
day.
there must be a pretty high count up there pre scorekeeping.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because once score got in the mix, then there's probably ethics or
Yeah, it gets weird when you start counting.
It gets weird when you start counting.
Yeah.
Well, I personally, like I said, I think we should. By the way, the Saudi royal family, who's my royal family, I realize is an Arab guy. You guys have the Prince Harry and shit. I don't give a fuck about that. These are my royal guys. They can't. They can't be stopped. They can't be talked to. They just have such a wild life over there. Where I don't even think it probably made news over there that they killed 81 people in one day.
No, they don't know.
My family, I have family who lives in Saudi Arabia, and my mom talks to them daily. If I said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" they wouldn't be like, "Oh, they killed 81 people here today." They would be like,
It was probably a clerical error. Like it was probably a mistake that they all just coincidentally happened to do it at the same time. You know when you're stuck in traffic at midnight for no reason, you're like, "Wow, how do we all end up here on the 101 at midnight?"
We all massively fucked up.
Yeah. So they just accidentally. Maybe there was like, is there a holiday coming soon, or is maybe they're trying to get it out of the way before they go
catching up from COVID?
Yeah. That is real. They did that last year.
They stopped the.
That is 100% true. Last year they executed the most people in a year they ever had because they weren't executing people during COVID. So they actually did have to catch up. And apparently they didn't catch all the way up.
Yeah. The Saudis, listen, they're hard workers where it counts.
Or they're very lazy.
That's true.
And this was like the last day. They were like procrastinators. Like, fuck, we got to cut these heads off or we have to let them go.
You have to let them go for another year. The statute of limitations. You don't want to deal with it. Yeah. All right, let's.
So sorry to all those folks.
Let's wrap the show up. We're gonna keep going. By the way, we're gonna record a Patreon episode. Be sure to join our Patreon, patreon.com/WHotW. Show. You can see the link in the show notes. We're gonna talk about. Let's see. We're gonna look at we are gonna look at the Russian fat guy that chained himself to a McDonald's there. We're going to look at the sanctions that Russia placed on Hunter Biden, which is hilarious.
That's amazing. They also sanctioned Biden, Joe Biden
yeah,
today.
It's really hilarious. Plus, we're going to answer some Patreon questions, so it'll be a fun time. Aside from that, be sure to follow the show across all social media platforms. Follow me on social media. Follow Tyler. Follow Brian. Anything you have to plug to these people before we get out of here, Brian?
No, like I said, I got shows in, I said this last week, but by the time this comes out, I have shows in Palm Springs, San Diego, Ventura, and San Luis Obispo.
Tyler, my man, what you got for these people?
I got nothing yet.
All right.
No rush.
No rush whatsoever. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna take a quick little break here, and we'll come back to record the Patreon. But for the rest of you people, on behalf of everybody here at the Worst Hour Nation, peace be unto the prophet.
Long live Worst Hours Shipping Company.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that idea.